The FBI is now investigating robocalls, urging voters to stay home on Election Day. It's happening in places like Michigan, where the state's attorney general said residents in Flint received calls telling them to vote tomorrow due to long lines. The attorney general said, quote, "Obviously, this is false and an effort to suppress the vote." She urged voters not to believe the lies and added, "There are no long lines." CNET senior producer Dan Patterson joins me now. Dan, good to see you. You know, this is really interesting. On top of these robocalls, we've got new information from the Washington Post about the NSA and Cybercom initiating operations against Iran. What can you tell us?
Elaine, U.S. Cyber Command, as well as the National Security Agency, the NSA, took what we might call a proportional response. These are actions against the Iranian hackers who worked for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, who allegedly sent intimidating emails to registered voters or used voter information to send emails. We have seen activity around Iranian hackers for the last 6 or 8 weeks, and they generally push pro-Biden or anti-Trump content. This is generally assumed by most cyber experts to be in response to much of the Trump administration's policies. Of course, we see other broad actors or large nation state actors like Russia working on behalf of the president or in pro-Trump ways. So it's a really what they call interesting digital or cyber battle space right now with competing interests.
So, Dan, you are also tracking Election Day disinformation. What are you seeing out there?
We are, Elaine. We're seeing a lot of content, but some of the most interesting is QAnon and other conspiracy accounts are pushing a false claim in a few states, especially in Pennsylvania, that voting machines have been broken or are being tampered with by Democrats. And in fact, we've seen, in 2016, we called this fake news. We've seen a number of websites pop up that purport to have things like election updates and very serious sounding content or headlines with this false or misleading claim that these voting machines have been broken.
Well, Dan, what should we expect after polls actually close? And how can we spot disinformation while we wait for results?
That's incredibly important, Elaine. So the first thing that we should expect when polls close is to see this battle space of disinformation kind of widen and probably focus in on the states that are contested, or if there are contested states, we will probably see a large amount of content focused on those through the course of the evening and into tomorrow. There are a few things that you can do. Look, the first thing is to make sure that you check the sourcing inside of whether it's a tweet, a Facebook post, or even a blog post or a news article. Check the original sourcing. Look, if a headline seems like it's playing right into your interests, it probably is. So scan through that article and find out where did they cite this information? Where did the claims come from? And then kind of follow that back to its home source. Another thing you can do is to check a claim against lots of other sources. Is it being talked about in the Washington Post, the New York Times, ABC, CBS? Are there different perspectives on the same story? If so, you can at least understand that, all right, the basic components, the basic facts are probably reliable. But if it's only on blogs, if it's only on Twitter or the social media or in YouTube, maybe suspect the source of that information and, again, look for more iterations of that content across the web from reliable sources.
So important for people to have that critical eye as they wait for these results to come in. Dan Patterson, Dan, thank you so much.
Good to see you.